Today on the Disruptors Flashback Wednesday, we're going to bring you back to a wonderful visit that Candace and I had when we went to University Place to talk to the founders of the Hunter Benefit Program. Now here's that interview. I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace.
And we're the Disruptors.
Hey, welcome to the show, Bill.
It's nice that you could move us out of the cave and put us into a really nice facility for a change.
Well, that's because we're on location.
Oh, okay. So this is just a one-time... Oh, darn. Anyway...
No, I'm sorry, I'm not moving us here.
Oh, shucks. I was hoping you would move here and I'd just stay back there. Anyway, we got some special guests here today.
We do, because we're on location at Hunter Benefits with Catherine and Christopher Tipper. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
This is exciting. We don't usually have live guests.
That is not true.
I'm really hard leaving the dead guest line laying on the table. So if you're going to put it over the plate, I'm going to swing at it.
Okay.
Please.
I love it. There's competition in the room.
I'm just going to sit here and watch the dials now. I've been outscored. I'm done. Batter up. Well, let's talk about the beginning of the company for our audience to get a feeling of what Hunter Benefits is all about.
I started in the industry in 1990, and I worked at a firm where I thought there was one true religion, and where all they were talking about was larger and larger plans, where they were doing this certain kind of service for clients that was called record keeping. All right, and I had an opportunity to go work for a software company, which is euphemism for me getting fired from the other place. So,
well, asking to
Bill
be
knows about
replaced.
that.
Yeah.
So at the software company, while I was working there, I came across a lot of other TPAs and realized that there actually was room for one more good one, and that the smaller market was being underserved, and that we could do very well by actually wanting to help the proverbial Fred's Muffler Shop. Very, very hard and fast minimum as to how small of a client we will go with.
One person.
One person.
That's pretty small, yeah.
We can't go less than one.
Can't go less
gets
than one.
messy,
No.
and yeah.
There's hope for you, Bill.
Yeah. I've come to the right place.
Yeah.
Well, this should add a lot of focus to the show today.
That gave us hope that we could go out and do this on our own, and I had actually always been wanting to do something on my own, to have my own company. But the prior two times I looked at it, it was from a position of panic and fear and desperation. And I didn't think that was a really good time. But I was actually very, very happy working where I was at. And so since I had a good job I was happy with, but was still feeling a very strong itch, and Catherine was very supportive of going out on my own, I figured now was the time.
Now was the time to
before I
step
got
forward.
too old.
Give us an idea what Hunter Benefits is all about.
How much tape do you have?
Well, I can go on for, let's see, 5 straight hours if you wish. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to need another cup of coffee here. So what Hunter Benefits is about is we are doing what we can to make the compliance burden. I'm sorry, every so often in here I'm going to have to throw in industry-specific words. I'm going to try to make it as user-friendly as possible, I guess. So what we are trying to do is to take as much of the burden off of the employer's desk to make a complex, annoying, discombobulating, sometimes very frustrating process, take that away from the plan sponsor so that they feel much more comfortable about having the retirement plan. Sometimes we help clients set things up so that the plan benefits the owners. However, in order for a plan to benefit the owner, you still have, the rank and file is still getting a benefit they would not have had otherwise.
I see, okay.
But as we get in the weeds, what this allows is small companies to have big company benefits. You know, big companies have big HR people who can do all sorts of great things. In a small company, it's hard for them to get to some of these other issues that are really critical. And your retirement plan is really critical, and small companies need them as well. So that's part of what we're doing, is we're focusing on that side of the market and being very personable and giving a very high level of service.
I see. It's very interesting because most companies now, I should say most employees, are only at a company for maybe 10 years, which is unfortunate. What I'm seeing in the marketplace now is it because of the factor of people want to just keep on moving up money-wise, and the overhead from big companies want to keep downsizing on labor and wages and stuff of this nature to stay competitive, that push these people from the 30-year mark with the company down to a 5-year mark or better? Do you see that kind of? I know I'm putting you on a
Well,
spot.
These are really portable. So you can take your money, you can save from a 401k plan in one firm and roll it into the one at your next one. Or you can roll it into an IRA. I mean, the premise is really start saving, start right away. And no matter what company you're in, try to get them to have a 401k plan or take advantage of it, especially if they have a match. Because it's portable. It's like you can work someplace 5 years, roll it into the next company's 401k plan.
Okay. You see how up I am on this issue.
And that wasn't so much the case when it's just the old-fashioned pension plan that people think about. When you've got your teachers and your firemen and your police and things like that. A lot of times those plans, you can't get any benefit out, even if you're not working there, until age 65. But with the modern plans, I don't know if modern is the right word, but with how you were describing it, with most plans being the 401k plan, they can take their balance and keep it with them. So I'm going to have to use the phrase smart with their money and not spend it when they leave their employer. If they're disciplined with their money and keep moving it with them, they can still end up with a good amount at retirement.
At retirement style.
When's a good time for a small business owner to pick up the phone and call Hunter Benefits?
Yesterday.
Right away.
Seriously.
It's really good to start right away and have plan of the end in mind, which means it takes a long time to save for retirement. So the sooner you do it, actually the easier it is.
Once the employer has a head around what they're doing, I'm being somewhat a little bit silly with saying right away, get the business going.
Sure.
And if you're not living off of the credit cards anymore, now's the time to give us a call. Because I think this might go back to the concept of the old pension plans, where that was a very stodgy beast. It was way more set in concrete. There wasn't a lot of flexibility with it. We think of the way we look at plans is we think of plans as being something organic. A company is organic. Our company, 19 years in, is nowhere near the company it was 1 year in, 2 years in, 5 years in, 10 years in, even different than it was last year. And as the companies evolve and mature, we can help them with the plan do the same thing. So we can start off with a plan that is substantially very basic, that doesn't have a lot of bells or whistles, but helps them to start meeting their retirement needs. It's not retirement goals. It's not retirement wants. It's retirement needs.
Yes.
Very true. And survival. So many people don't really think about it. They go to work. They hope that when they get ready to retire, that Social Security will be there, of course. And they don't really prepare themselves at all. And then all of a sudden, the door closes, and they're out working at Walmart, which is a good employer, I guess. But I always found it's a little rough to stand there and welcome to Walmart, now get your stuff and get out, when you're older. So,
but it's good to have a couple of revenue streams, basically. I mean, most of us still want Social Security to be there, even if it looks scary sometimes. But having a 401k plan makes sure that you have another revenue stream that comes in that can help you out. And so, maybe Walmart's your third revenue stream, but it makes it so that you're not so pinched at the end and that you have some flexibility.
And does this really help, I would imagine, with the business also and the tax problems and keeping... I always like to bring that up. Candace is now beating on my knee. Shut up, don't go there, don't go there. Yeah.
No, go there.
Well, give me a kind of a projection of how that fits into this.
Well, It depends on what the motivation for having the plan is. Sometimes we have a plan where the only motivation is the owner. But as I said, the way the rules have been written since, well, with the advent of ERISA in 1974, the way the rules have been written, even when a plan is trying to benefit the owner the most, the rank and file is still getting a substantial benefit. Okay, so you've got three basic motives. And by the way, I am answering your tax question.
Oh, okay.
You've got three basic motives for having a plan. Benefit only the owners and the staff as little as possible. Mm-hmm. The opposite of that, it's truly an employee benefit plan. Okay. The company owners, maybe they're not even active employees. They're just silent owners, silent partners, whatever. They truly want a plan for the employees, for retention, to be competitive in the marketplace, for reasons for the employees' benefit. And then the third one is the one in the middle. So when we're looking at a purely employee retirement plan, we're not taking into account the tax consequences too much because they may be tertiary in importance. Oh. But there's the benefit there. But when we're setting up a plan for the owners, when we've got a small group of employees or a large percentage of owners, we can usually set the plan up so that the contribution to the staff is less than the tax savings. So in other words, they're ahead of the game by having the plan.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So tax planning can become a very important motivator
You bet, absolutely.
in moving somebody off of the dime, or to move from having a basic plan where there weren't a lot of bells and whistles to we put the bells and whistles on it and they realize, wait a minute, I can get everybody gets a lot more benefit out of this.
So jumping into the tax thing, and I'll jump in, is that, when you're an individual in a 401k plan, there's money that's the pre-tax money, which means, you make $50,000, you contribute $2,000, it brings down your income, and you don't pay tax on that part. There's that, and then there's something called Roth. And Roth, when you make a Roth contribution, you actually pay your taxes now, but as your earnings grow within your plan, when you take the distributions, then you've already paid your taxes. You don't pay them again.
Oh, okay. So you pay them once.
You pay them once. So, I mean, whether you want to clarify that more, what's beautiful about a plan is you are thinking about your taxes a bit when you're making your contributions. What's happening to it? And it's better than just saving it in a regular savings account because there, you pay taxes on the interest every year. Mm-hmm. So, as small as it is.
Yeah, right. With the Roth, the money comes out tax-free, not tax-deferred. All right. And and there's a big difference in that. And even though the concept of Roth has been around for quite some time, there's still a lot of people out there who think that they're making too much money to have a Roth 401k. That's not the case. You can have too much family income to make a Roth IRA contribution, but inside a 401k plan, there's no such thing as a compensation limit. Regardless of the compensation, people can make the after-tax Roth contribution and get its tax benefits.
So there's a lot more tax flexibility in terms of
going in that direction.
Yeah, and going in that direction. So
that makes nowadays there's so much controversy. When you go to work and they present you with a package and all this, and you're not sure. I think I want to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Is that just because the industry is so changing so fast? That people don't really get an understanding of what a 401k is or what a Roth plan is, or I know this is going to be a tough one. I know.
No, I think for most people, you have to learn to walk before you learn to run. Mm-hmm. And some of it is when you're 20 and you start your first job. Most people just don't know much about investments. Most people don't know much about plans. But it's a good thing to start saving money in it and start paying attention and start training yourself so you understand it better. Yes, there's some complex, it looks daunting from the front end. Mm-hmm. I agree. But it's learning to walk before you run and start it early and do it. And the complexity, part of the plan, there should be some education in it to help you understand it. But what else would you like to say on how to make it seem more approachable to people?
Well, what I was going to say is that there are a lot of vendor partners out there who are trying to be helpful with education. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they're trying to give anybody a PhD in finance or anything like that, but just to help to understand the basic
The basics.
reasons for why. The problem is that